Okay, so in this video we're going to be looking at preparing a packaging document. So it's very important to point out that packaging is an engineering activity. It isn't really the activity of a graphic designer. Graphic designers can come up with ideas for packaging, but the person who actually develops the packaging must know something about the engineering of packaging. So even though you might have activities during your studies that allow you to create and design original packaging, in the real world it would be very seldom that you would actually be involved in the actual engineering process. You might be involved in the ideation of packaging, but the actual creating of packaging is quite technical and involves people who really, it's their job to do that. So most of the time with packaging, you'll speak to your printer and your printer will provide you with templates to work from. In other words, certain types of packaging that they are used to working with, certain box designs that they normally use, and they will provide you with a template that you'll work on to do your designs. If you're doing something more original, it's always a good idea to have a look for a template online that's going to get you close to where you want to go. And places like foldfactory.com are good sources of really almost any kind of packaging that your heart could desire. So just always bear that in mind when with packaging. So as a designer and as someone that might get involved in packaging design, or at least the designs for packaging, there are certain things that you need to do. So what I have here is a template for a very simple box. This is a professionally designed template which I just got online, and you can see that they've taken into account where things are going to fold, where there's going to be they're going to need to have little nicks cut out so that things don't get warped. So these are all the things that need to be taken into consideration when designing for packaging. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this as our basis to do our design. So the first thing we need to do is we need to create a die cut layer. So the die layer is what the printer then sends off to have the die blade cut or die blade created so that the box can be cut accurately. So I'm going to go into this layer called packaging template, and I'm going to double click to enter isolation mode, and I'm going to take just that outline and I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to double click away to exit isolation mode, lock my layers and make a new layer, and I'm just going to call this die cut. And the die cut layer normally goes at the top, and then I'm going to go edit, paste in place, and I'm going to set that to its own color. So normally what you would do is set your die cut layer to a special spot color so that your printer knows exactly what to do with that. So I'm just going to go to my swatches, library, color books, Pantone solid coated, and I'm going to use this one, Pantone Red 032. So that is going to be the color that I'm going to apply to the stroke. Okay, so that will be my die cut in the die cut layer. So that's done. I can lock that. Then I need to put in my folds. So I'm going to go back to the packaging template, and I'm going to select, well, first of all, double click to enter isolation mode and select all the parts of the document that represent folds. And I'm going to copy that as well. Exit isolation mode, lock that layer, make a new layer called folds, and edit, paste in place. And I'm going to set those folds to another Pantone color. So I'm going to go to color books, Pantone solid coated, and I'm going to choose process blue. So these are just my choices. These are not necessarily always the choices that are made, but I know that I can then go to the printer and say, okay, everything that's in Pantone process blue is a fold line, and then I'm just going to apply that as a stroke. Okay, so if I now hide my original template layer, you can see that I have my die cut and I have my folds. I'm actually missing a fold here. Let me go back and find that. That's this line here. Okay, copy, let's go to the fold layer, paste in place, and we'll make it that blue. Okay, that's better. Right, so I can lock the fold layer and I would put that underneath the die cut layer. Then there's going to be an area where glue has to go. So generally you don't want printing to happen where there's going to be gluing, because glue doesn't stick so well to printing. So I'm going to actually mark that area off on a new layer, and I'm just going to call it glue. And I'm going to take a rectangle and I'm just going to mark off that area, and I'm going to set it to another spot color, which will be yellow, and I'm going to make that a fill. Okay, so the printer is not necessarily going to use this. This is just my way of making sure that I know where I can design and where I can't design, where folds are going and where the die cut is going. The printer will deconstruct this and know exactly what to do with it. Then we need to make a bleed so that we know where the design needs to go to. So I'm going to go back to the original template and hide all my other layers so that I can work with that, and I'm going to double click and then select that outline again, copy it, double click away, show all my layers, lock my packaging layer, and I'm just going to make a new layer and call it bleed, and I'll leave that underneath all of the other stuff. Edit, paste in place, and then I'm going to apply an offset path to that. So object, path, offset path, and I'll set it to 2 millimeters. And I'll also set that to my Pantone red. No, I won't. I'm just going to set it to normal red, like normal bleeds are red. Okay, so that gives me a good idea of where my artwork needs to bleed to. Alright, so now I'm good to go in terms of placing my design on this document. So I can go to I'll lock the bleed layer, I'll go to the design and artwork layer and unlock that, and I can start to design here. So what I'm going to do is with the bleed, I'm going to take that and use it. So I'm going to copy it, so Command or Control C, go to my design artwork, edit, paste in place, and I'm going to give that my fill. So okay, I'm not spending too much time on artwork for this, or at least on colors, because this is more about the packaging, so you know how to take care with your colors and to be really precise with them, so I don't need to tell you that. Okay, so those are my colors. So now I need to just cut off the places where there's going to be folding and glue and things like that, so that I've got a fill color for the background of my design. So I'm just going to take my rectangle tool and I'm going to cut there. I'm just going to fill that with white, and I'll take that and this and choose minus front. Okay, so I've just cut it off there. Then I'm also going to cut off where this little fold in tab goes. I'm going to let it go a little bit over that, and minus front, and also this side. Minus front, and in fact the bottom of the box in general doesn't need to be printed, so we'll take that down to the bleed there. Okay, and then okay, that's the top, and these can sort of be printed to about the bleed as well. Like that, and another one on this side, like that. So I'll select those two, unite them, select the background color, and subtract. Okay, so that's actually not too bad. I need to be a little bit more precise with my work here, so I'm going to take my direct selection tool and I'm just going to move those in. Okay, and the same on this side. No, this side's okay. Right, so now I've got my where my artwork's going to go for my packaging, and now I can start to place some of the other stuff. So I've got some artwork here for you to work with. So this is an anti-stress tonic. So we're going to go to the front of it and build the front up first. So object arrange, bring to front. This is the logo. Let's just group that. That can go there. And also arrange to front. And the name of it is hexatone. So we're going to also move that to the front. So now I can build this nicely. Okay, and I'll make that white. Okay, and here yes, I'll select those three and align them. Whoops, not with the artboard but with the selection, and then just move that into position. Okay, so that is the front of the design. We're going to have a barcode. Okay, and some directions can go on the side, also bring to the front. Oops. Okay, and we can repeat this on the other side. Maybe a bit smaller because it's the back, and then let's just put a logo there and a logo there. Okay, then I've got this blend of lines. Now I want to expand it because I don't want to have any lines in here that could get messed up in printing. So I'm going to go expand, and okay, and then this can go in here. And let's just position it to the bleed. Like that, and this pink color background is seriously not the right color. Okay, so maybe we can let's try something else completely, something more kind of tonic-y. Yeah. Let's go with a gradient. Okay, 90%, and let's choose like orange to yellow. Let's go with a lighter yellow. Okay. Something I've just realized is this document is actually RGB. It should be CMYK. So that was the template that I downloaded. So that was bad. It should have been CMYK. But that's fine now, just so long as I pick that up. Okay, so the document is now well prepared for printing, and in our layers we've got a layer for design and artwork. We've got a bleed layer where all of our printed artwork goes to the bleed where necessary. We've got, I'll turn off the packaging layer, we've got our glue, we've got our folds, and we've got our die cuts. Okay, so this is kind of an introduction to how packaging works. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and see you next time.